we gotta take a look at our map. We need to know what we're gonna play on. So IDK versus Supremacy. We'll start off with our 7-map pool down to 5, and that'll be Border and Oregon removed from play.
All right. Well, that's always a nice start. Unfortunately, that's not so nice as losing Villa already. I feel like we're not going to see Villa too much till the second half of the season. It's just kind of a given.
It's all right. I think we'll see it played a few times in Paris Major, and outside of that, I'm not really feeling it too much.
Maybe that will crack it. You know, it's like Skyscraper got played a lot more after the Invitational where it got played, so it's one of those things. But Coastline looks like it's going to be your map. That one just slightly favoring IDK.
Slightly?
Yeah, just slightly. Because so both of these teams have played it. IDK played it 1-6-2 against Mocket. And when Supremacy played it, it was more like a 3-6 against them versus Millennium. So not such a great map for them. But the fact that they got 3 points against Millennium is still
pretty
decent.
strong team on Coastline.
Yeah, exactly. They have a very good history on Coastline. So that's not terrible. That means Supremacy have some skills and some strats on it, but they're going up against a Titan on it. And the worst part for them, IDK starting on attack. And as you've seen, this can be, now it's not guaranteed to be, but definitely can be a very attacker-sided map in the current meta, depending on the operator bans.
Yeah, the operator bans definitely will tell a big part of the story, and then which sites will you go for?
Yeah.
If you're as well Supremacy starting off on the defense, you really have to have some crafty strategies to play around this, because even some of the pro players, we talked about this with Canadian, and he had a long talk as well with Intero on it when they were doing the couch cast, and still, straight up, Coastline is, if you're on the attack and you don't get at least 3 to 4 rounds, you're really not.
Yeah, you're hurting.
You're not in a good spot, especially with the Mira ban nowadays. But community vote.
Let's see what your guys' opinion is, since we don't have
know.
Canadians vote up there. But 77 to IDK, actually, I would almost say that's lower than I would have expected, given what happened in Valencia, what they've been doing, what they've been showing so far, where they are in the boards. But that just means there's some good faith in Supremacy, and that's probably one of the lowest draw percentages we've seen, if not the lowest. I remember the other day the lowest I saw was 8%.
Yeah, we had yesterday 8% actually.
So people not thinking this is going to be a 5-5, and I concur. I don't think it's likely to have a 5-5 scoreline here, but you never know with these teams. It's definitely a case where, like, what we expected with Liquid, for example, for them to go from winning every time to a 5-5 scoreline. It's possible for that to happen here if IDK are having an off day, or if Supremacy are just playing especially good. But keep in mind, IDK have their new coach, Helby, who's been doing, I expect, a fantastic job. Helped a bit with Valencia and has now had a bit more time to acclimate. So not to talk Helby up too much, but I think he's a smart guy, and we'll see if that pays off tonight or not. If they lose, we can ban him or blame him.
He's all right. But we'll head into game here as Coastline is readied up for us to go. So back to sunny Spain. And oh, Devin, do I miss sunny Spain.
It was
beautiful.
A bit too sunny for me.
But you're a California boy.
I'm a vampire.
That's actually very true.
I need to move to Alaska.
For me, Valencia is like being back home as well. I was so happy there. You have no idea. And it's a good thing to see Coastline, a very called for a map in here to start off EU Playday. Glass will be our first.
Well, that leaves IDK a ban, because they're always the ones banning Glasmira, so that, now free ban for them. Which, again, I still feel like, why waste a ban when you can pretty much guarantee what IDK are going to do? But,
okay, there we go.
Because
it's Coastline, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're not playing against Orglis, but still, definitely makes a lot of sense, especially for that penthouse defense. Although we've seen some good Ying rushes as well downstairs in delivery, so definitely could be a thing. Now, this should be pretty predictable, and there it is. So what will Supremacy go for next? Will they throw out that Legion Man, for example?
Super Legion Man? No, he's not going to be removed here. I think it's starting to get to our heads. Valkyrie is going to get removed. There's some very, very powerful Valkyrie spots here to set up your Black Eyes. Aquarium is one of them. You know, I've been using this myself after watching it. This is why I encourage everybody, no matter your skill level, to come in and watch Pro League, because you will learn new things that you will never see yourself from these professional players, the best players in the world, basically. There's some interesting spots where you can use hatches, being shot on the side with a deagle, and then setting up your Valkyrie cam on there and having view of Aquarium and of the lounge right below it, which gives you a lot of information, holding down pretty much an entire entryway on the map. But we'll see the Blitz being rotated off for the Dokkaebi by Meepy and Anthrax bringing the castle.
All right, well, that should be interesting. Kitchen, I think, is a good starting place here. I would definitely prefer it over Penthouse given the current meta and the current operators. But at least Ying being banned here makes Penthouse a little more viable on defense. But nonetheless, it is definitely a difficult one. Starting on Kitchen, I think, the better bomb site, and one that a lot of the stronger teams tend to do. We'll see if they can defend this successfully. They are bringing both a Smoke and Echo and, I say both as if it's two, Smoke, Echo, and Maestro. So they are looking to do some serious denial, not to mention the castle barricades to slow down that push, which means IDK need to have good time management on this attack. But they do have Lion and Dokkaebi, and that will certainly help with that.
And for me, the fact that there is Lion, Dokkaebi, and IQ, and knowing that IDK are very efficient at taking down any roamers or any players that are playing right outside of the site before collapsing on it. If you lose your roamers early on as Supremacy, like the castle and the Jaeger in here, you're gonna have a bad time. And Supremacy are setting up their defense even up here in the hookah. So they have an idea or two. They always go outside of the site and then bring it back to set up their final reinforcements on it, as they might just try and use Maestro's Evil Eyes and also K6's Yokai drones to support their roamers in their adventures upstairs. I think Skyro's used up even here by Stizzy to open up the pool table.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has
well,
been
those
dropped.
castle barricades definitely being made short work of. Because they're outside, you saw the one on hookah door as well. They're not going to have as big of an impact as they would if they were inside. There are I would say a lack of soft breachers. Leon, taking a bit of damage already, getting a little too cocky on that aquarium door. Nice angle there from underneath the couch. He is going to get spotted out, though, and this is going to be a tough fight for him. He does have an armor advantage, but speed advantage over to Leon quickly turns it into a kill.
Yeah, not sure what K6 was trying to accomplish here, because that's Echo. Why is Echo right here?
At least they still have Smoke, and I was going to say Maestro, but Leon's like, nope. Almost catches one on the stairs as well, and Lems gets another.
Yeah, they're all getting shut down, as even on the rotations from Cool Vibes, there's already players that are watching out for the rotation. IDK so efficient at making sure they have an eye on everything that their opponents are doing. Very efficient again.
I think that was an efficient demonstration right there. He throws the grenade, then like, okay, I'm going to do something else while I wait for it to explode.
Yeah, there's no time wasted at all. We're at 1:25 left. 3 players have already been knocked down, and now the site is pretty much fully open for IDK to push into because the Buck is still alive. Leon somehow was able to survive getting those 2 kills early on.
He just doesn't care.
Then they just run into the site. Lems will get one, and that's the E1D to freeze the castle in position as they know where he's at.
Oh my.
Lems gets the last 2. IDK just
flawless.
showing exactly how to deal with a team that really didn't have the greatest idea of how to set up against this attack. I don't know if there was any other way to reorganize things after they had set up that defense, because the reinforcements and everything showed that they were going to put so much effort in the aquarium, in pool table, in hookah, but it just ended up in 3 deaths.
Honestly, it just came down to the fact they aggressively roamed in the wrong way. They had their roamers playing aggressive, first off against Leon, which is already a mistake right there. But second off, the way they played it, they were getting droned out, getting caught off guard. I mean, they did do a bit of damage to Leon, but if you're going to do damage to Leon, you need to finish the job, because he didn't seem to care how low a health he was, still pushing and doing his job. But they needed to be a bit more of a surprise to the attackers. They needed to let the attackers inside first, trying to attack them while they were outside. Didn't seem to catch them off guard, seemed to do the opposite, seemed to just be like, okay, now I know where you're at. And that's the thing, they just lack of surprise, definitely working out. Leon with 2 and Elems with 3 that round. He cleaned up things nicely. Just a 2-man army there with the rest of the team doing a fantastic job supporting it. We'll see how hookah goes, though. Surprising they're not going to go for Penthouse before hookah, or even bar. But we'll see if they're able to defend this any better. They're going to switch out the Maestro for a Pulse, though. We'll see if that works out any better for them. I imagine going to be playing below, but you never know. Could play it otherwise as well, but it is decent to have a Pulse playing down inside the bar. Assuming they don't just push that on you, then of course that's a tough spot to be in.
I mean, with the fact that there's no bandit batteries or mute jammers that are set up on the back wall, this should have been already spotted by IDK, and I'm expecting them to just bring the Habana and get her all the way up on the rooftop and open an angle right into the site here, because this will make it nigh impossible for the defenders to deal with it. And of course, you don't really need hard destruction here. you know, you can set up and go for fights without requiring a hard constructor. So
yeah.
I fully push IDK to use the Habana in that matter because it will make their job so easy. You cut off rotations, you've already won half the map.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like Supremacy shouldn't have wasted. There we go. Again, pushing out aggressively on the outside. That cost you last round as well. But different operator that got killed. I feel like they should have banned Lion instead of Glaz, knowing that Glaz was going to get banned anyways by IDK. I mean, unless they were like, that's fine, we wanted Ying banned as well. It just, again, seems like they could have played with a little more strategy in the ban phase so they didn't at least have to deal with either the Lion or the Dokkaebi, because that's just making the roam game even harder.
And the thing is, you saw the castle barricade in the hallway here. This actually plays to the side of the attackers, because now they don't have to worry about a flank.
And that's the thing is castle barricades, you really got to be smart with how you play them in terms of exactly that. You don't want to give them freebies. You want to be able to use them wisely. I mean, you can often impact nade or tear down your own castle barricade, but that is a risky play to make when you don't have perfect intel or timing or some kind of distraction to take full advantage of that. And timing has not been Supremacy's strength so far this match.
Grenade in from Leon to open up the hallway. He's playing from the opposite side here in the VIP. Alems will get one on Crisco. As they're just walking on, and the drone hole is going to get used to bounce a grenade in. Will do a bit of damage to K6, but the angle is held perfectly by Leon. He spots the second. That's the Echo auto play. Now the last is playing in the back of the site, and Leon gets the 3K IDK. And there you go. You saw the Habana had already opened up 2 holes.
Yep.
There was no way. There's no way the Pulse could have done anything in the pool lounge.
And I believe it was another second perfect round. This is seeming like a warm-up match for IDK at best. This is like a scrim.
But we'll keep in mind that this is attack.
Yeah.
So attack, for a lot of people in a professional tier, they expect to have at least 3 to 4 rounds on the board. If even 3 is like you're breaking even.
But to be fair, I'm talking about perfect attacks. I'm not just talking about attack wins. Yeah, I expected attack wins, but this is bad for Supremacy when you're losing in such a flawless manner from IDK.
Has there been any single death so far on the attack?
I do not believe so. I mean, maybe we could check the scoreboard
We'll flash
for a second,
in once we get in, I guess.
Yeah. Either way, though, so they're continually trying different bomb sites, and maybe that will keep IDK on their toes a little bit as they are changing up operators. Now, Meepy was going to bring Blackbeard, then instead he went with Capitao just to 6-pick it over to Dokkaebi. So playing a little bit of mind games there, but either way, they're not changing up too much in their lineup.
Dokkaebi Lion. This is why I was expecting a Lion ban.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. They should have gone for a Lion ban instead of a Glaz ban.
Not a single death on IDK. Granted, Leon and Alems with all 10 kills on the board.
Honestly, if I'm the rest of the team, I'd be like, awesome. Keep it up, guys. We don't need to feel the extra pressure. We're going to do whatever we can to support you, just decimating Supremacy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These are the 2 players that will, more often than not, make the work happen in terms of your standard kills. Meepy is the guy that, by the end of the round, just gets into Super Saiyan mode and is ready to clutch it whenever that is needed.
Honestly, this round, I would like to see Supremacy just turtle up a bit. Because their roam play is just, it's too often near the entry points of the attackers, and I think that's a big problem. Normally when you play roam on this map, you play diagonal corner from where they're actually coming in. If they're attacking Penthouse, usually you're going to be over in Aquarium to be able to rotate over, and then kind of like, the side rooms to that. In this case, that's a lot of times where they're going to enter as well, so you can play off of that, but you don't want to play exactly in those rooms, you want to play next to them. In this case, they're just playing right in the entry points every single time.
This is the same defender setup that we saw in round 1, in round 2, and now in round 3. And I have to wonder what goes on in Supremacy's mind in this. They obviously bring the Legion. Alphama is caught off on a peek against Meepy, and you know what? He's playing the Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi can't. Oh, boy, nicely done.
First kill on IDK. Alphama not able to get one of his own, but Kriska, nicely done.
Yeah, a lot of damage done here to Crisco and Alphama. They're both at 50% health. See the rotation from below by Dejus, who wants to peek in against a Lems Lackey on the drone as Leon has already taken control of VIP. Seems like the buck will always go up here because it's just, you take control of Cool Vibe Stairs, you give yourself a huge L, boy. Oh!
Saved. Well, he's going to be scared away now, though. That's a good warning to get out of that stairwell because you only get so many charges on that ADS. You got to bail at some point. I imagine there was probably only one ADS there as well, so you can only get stopped one more grenade. But Leon gets that kill finally on Alphelma.
Yeah, he's expecting somebody to peek in from those opened up holes. Unfortunately for Leon, won't find that. Grenade's going to get tossed into the castle barricade. Blow up, and we'll have an angle down and take down the camera. There you go. Now we'll walk into the pool table. Does he have info? He's just going to take out that goo mine. So the rest of his teammates support him from below. They're going to try to pinch anybody upstairs. As they take control of the Sunrise bar from the back. Crisco kill on Leon, taking down the buck. So now this is a bit problematic for IDK. They don't have the buck to play from above and open up the floorboards into the site. Lems will get one on Anthrax as the E1D from Lackey will be used. Lems walking still from the kitchen.
He's still alive, though, and that's the important thing is maybe you lost Leon, but you still got a Lems. He has used up quite a bit of his utility getting in there, but they still also have 2 calls left. There we go. Lackey taking down Crisco. Now it's actually a 3v2, but traded back, 2v2.
Shoes will get one, but Lackey is still alive, and now it's all up to K6. Is there still a logic bomb? No, there is not. There is still an E1D, though, that'll allow the attackers of IDK to go for a plant. The Yokai is being maneuvered back into position as he'll spot the diffuser being set, but he uses it on the Lion, and unfortunately, that was the wrong decision. Lackey to clean things up. K6 will go down, and IDK with a 3rd run on the board. Not flawless. This time they lose 3 players, but Supremacy at least are trying to adapt, but this is still one-sided after round 3.
Unfortunately, a little too late, as that was their best bomb site, and now they don't have enough time to go back to it because they have to play 2 more rounds. And in that case, they do not have the ability to rotate if they had won that. Because it's just, I mean, they could try it again, which they will do, but again, they can't get 2 wins off of it because of timing.
Yep.
So hopefully they can manage to stick it out this round, though, so they don't end up with a 5-0 going into their attack side. But definitely still looking good for IDK. And unfortunately, being the same bomb site, I mean, IDK being a team that's going to read into that and know what they did wrong last round makes me think this round's probably not going to go as well for Supremacy as it did last time. But at least they played the roam game a lot better, a lot smarter last time, a lot more spread out in terms of being away from the attacker entry points. Also, like, turtling up a little bit better, staying in positions where they weren't getting directly into fights until they had some intel from things like the Yokai drones and the Legion mines. But yeah, they just don't have a lot of times the reaction time or the jump on the players to get the kills. And you see sometimes from Leon's health, you can kind of tell he's got the reaction time that even if you get the jump on him, he'll still land the kill. Because otherwise, you know, you could shoot him, but you can't seem to finish the job fast enough before he'll flick around and kill you. And I think that's a big factor here in why they just cannot stop him. I mean, yeah, they got him last round, but he was already at half health by the time they did.
All right, we head into round number 4. And we'll be back to Blue and Sunrise. Supremacy not changing anything in their setup. I think the operator picks that they have are very good for this sort of defense. That's not the problem. The problem is just how they're reacting to the attackers of IDK. And well, even here, IDK aren't really changing anything with their lineup.
It's absolutely clear communication and teamwork, and that's the case you could see when you end up in one-on-ones, but the advantage going over to the attackers is a case where the attackers are doing a better job droning and communicating, because the defenders should theoretically have the advantage on intel and things like that because they're setting up everything and acting, you know, this is one big booby trap of a map in theory, so they should be ready to get these ambushes. The fact that they're not means their setup or their coordination between roamers is not there yet.
Now we'll spot the smoke running back. Obviously, it's a great position to be in if you're a smoke here. Just take control of the main bar in Sunrise and have a clear line of... Oh no, Leon runs right into Alpha Ma, but Lackey will get one more. He'll try to get the second, and Anthrax will go down, but K6 will refrag from the back of the bar. Alpha Ma with one more. I'm not sure what IDK were trying to do with this one, as might be getting a bit too cocky in the push. Lems holding angle as Crisco will get the spot. As he walks on in with the bearing 9, unable to finish off the opponent's Legion. Lems now the last man alive versus 3 from Supremacy. Jumps on down from the bar. He's gonna try to contest maybe in the window. Grenade's gonna get lobbed in back, and the ADS will burn it. That diffuser's on the floor. Gotta be careful here if you're a Lems. Obviously, you don't really expect him to win this whole round out. Well, Supremacy, very good reactions here. IDK get a bit cocky, and they get shut down.
Yeah, that Leon just jumping on in thinking, oh, the site's clear. You got to expect someone covering the hole to the left, because It's such a normal rotation to have. So unless it was just a mistimed information, like where they saw someone wasn't there, and then right when he jumped in, they happened to be there, like an Alphalma just catching him off guard. Okay, I can understand that, but otherwise, like you said, that might have just been too cocky of a push. They thought they felt like they had the fragging confidence and speed to be able to pull it off because, well, that's what I was just saying about Leon. But when you're mid-vault animation and you don't know someone's there, reaction time won't do you a whole lot of good because chances are they'll win that kind of fight. As turning around like that, just not easy to do. But good round overall for Supremacy, definitely much better. But like I said, now they cannot go back there. So their final round will be on Hookah. At least they got one on defense here, though, and that is always good in such an attacker-sided situation. But can they capitalize on attack as well as IDK have been once they switch sides after this? That's really the question.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Still bring it in here for a bit of a similar line, of course, Cisco going for the Pulse instead of Legion that we've been seeing for a couple of rounds. And right now, Meepy and Stizzy are not really able to put anything on the board as their teammates are practically taking everything away. So, sharing is caring, gentlemen. Please keep that in mind.
Share it. Well,
so I'm really interested to see why we have not gone to the penthouse. What's your thought on this?
I mean, it's a case where a lot of teams have been losing it. A lot of teams don't necessarily know how to defend it well, but a lot of the operators that make it much harder to defend, meaning Ying and Glaz, are off the board.
Yeah.
So you actually have a bit more of an advantage here. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's difficult to defend it without mirror, but everyone should be pretty used to that by now and how to do it. It might just be that in the scrims they've realized they have a very weak penthouse setup, or that they're getting deconstructed on it, or it could be a case also where they've seen IDK's attack for it and decided they don't have a good counter for that yet. I imagine they probably weren't scrimming each other to really know directly, as you usually don't scrim the opponent you're going to be playing anytime soon.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, after you've played them, so there's a chance maybe they'll scrim each other after this match, and then maybe they can work on their penthouse. So maybe next time on Coastline they'll have a little bit better one.
It depends on the teams. Like
yeah.
there are certain teams like Penta and Ends are big scrim partners even in the past. Teams like Millennium and T3H nowadays are big scrimming partners. That's why their games, in my mind, were so close at DreamHack Valencia. So I always have to keep that in mind. But it's always good to have a variety. Meepy, that's not how you use an umbrella, mate.
You know what? It is when Alphalma is going to peek the window. Unfortunate. Though that is a good use of that DMR, and that's one of the things that's useful about that setup is, or the kit that you have, is you get that DMR for those long-range snipes, and then once you get indoors, switch to the SMG-12 and go frag away.
Are you saying Dokubi's a good operator?
No, I would never say such a thing. But it's unfortunate there is no other choice of rifle, though.
And they will do no damage on the castle sitting behind the bar, just as he's crossing in.
A few hairs lost.
Yeah, just a few hairs lost there. Of course, the helmet can protect, but
that's what it is the helmet.
Yeah, exactly. He's still just opening fire with that DMR against the UMP, as you know, this definitely does delay things for Supremacy. They're not able to rotate fast enough, but because they can keep the player pinned here, it allows Leon to cook a grenade right below.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, it'll be missed, and Leon will have to find another way to go through it.
Now I'm thinking, why doesn't Castle use the stuff that he uses for his barricades as his armor? Seems to stop bullets pretty well.
Imagine if you could put it on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The mattress. Anthrax, though, getting the kill on Leon, of course, as we mentioned earlier, that's always a good initial kill, but maybe a little late here.
Actually, I think we've just made a new operator.
There you go. Mattress Man?
It's not a superhero, Devin.
I thought that's what these guys were. They have costumes and everything.
Yeah, all the yellow banana costumes.
Yeah, Banana Man.
Stizzy fighting in from the aquarium. As Lems will peek in into B.
All right.
Lackey gets one, but finally the smoke canister is going to get thrown in by Juzna. A bit of damage done to Lackey, that's one thing. But Meepy can go up and hold from the window using his DMR. As you see, IDK have 25 seconds left on the clock, and all the canisters have been used up. So Stizzy will just run in and try to go for that plant, as they can hear the player in the back. The shots will try to go through, but they spot the Yokai the last second, and Alem's beautiful play here as he takes down one, but now it turns into a 1v1 between K6 and Stizzy. Stizzy has the perfect advantage, but the Yokai from K6 will have to be played perfectly to give the advantage to Supremacy. They need that second round. The Echo Drone will get spotted, but a bit too slow. K6 will clutch it and get the kill on Stizzy. Supremacy put the second round on the board in a beautiful bit of echo play in the yokai, and now it's a 3-2.
Bomb defusing attempt failed.
Nicely done. That was good timing. I like the taking advantage of going for the stun right then, because you knew the drone was going to get shot out.
And you know you have time anyways.
Yeah.
So remember, you have one of the best bits of utility that the defenders have in their kit, which is a yokai drone.
And that was well played. I mean, normally I would think it'd be good to have 2 on site in a situation like that, but the fact that Alems was just spotting them out and shooting them meant they were kind of useless, because he was taking advantage of the smoke as cover to give him the opportunity to use the gadget, find that yokai, and take full advantage of it. So that was a good play by Alems, but a good counterplay by the Echo, because the smoke, as you mentioned, a little premature in using all his canisters, might have cost them that round, because it did cost them getting the plant down. They weren't able to deny that long enough. And because of that, they definitely had to rely on Echo, but he did a great job in that clutch situation. And it was a little surprising to see Alems turn his back so much, though, expose himself. That was definitely a little bit of a mistake, but
I don't know if there was a drone that could have been set up there to help out the attackers.
Probably. I mean, he could have just moved to the side instead of running away from the door like that. But either way, it's, you know, that's hindsight is 20/20 in that case. He wishes he had hindsight, of course, because then he would have seen the bullets coming at him.
Thank you very much, Captain Hindsight.
There you go. But we will be starting on Hookah, interestingly enough, as their first bomb site for IDK. Interesting choice, and the first mute being brought out here. Yeah. They will also be bringing out the Maestro, something we saw kind of fall off from Supremacy after they decided it didn't help enough.
What I've been seeing a lot in end of Season 7 and early on in Season 8 here is that Penthouse is the first site you go to, Kitchen is very close in pick rate, and then there's
Attackers recovered the
you could still place the bars, Sunrise and Blue, and then last in the pick rate is Hookah, and this match is really turning it on its head.
It's really puffed into existence this time. So it's definitely something you wouldn't expect to see very often, but maybe that's the idea, right? Is to throw them off in terms of playing a site they're not as prepared to attack as often. It did somewhat work out the second time around for Supremacy, although just barely so. We'll see, though. They are going to have to go for a push here. And unfortunately, watching the hatch from that angle just means you're going to get killed. Don't expose your drone. Make sure that don't if he moves it too much, too, the noise alone is going to expose it. He needs to just take full advantage of that. Unfortunately, Buck is not able to get the kill from his side. Looks like a little bit of a sloppy Buck play here from Crisco.
Meepy will try to peek in against Crisco. Is trying to get that long-range angle. Of course, since this is round number 6, you'll see that both sides have been swapped. So now IDK are on the defense. They're bringing the Maestro, Smoke, and Echo lineup that we talked up so much.
At least Leon moved. Still watching the hatch, but from a different angle now. Still risky to be doing that, though, if they know you're watching, which, of course, he doesn't know they know. But there comes a phone call. And unfortunately, just too slow of a push to really capitalize on it yet.
Yeah, and you see Meepy putting himself in a bit better position. Unfortunately, with the E1D and the flashes all coming in together, Crisco will finally finish him off. Alphama on Leon Gids. Now it's up to the last 3 defenders to hold the site. But you have a Yokai and you have a Maestro with a lot of information denial, especially on a site that has, basically funnels the attackers into it. The mute will do a lot of work when it comes to denying information before you get onto the site. Now, there is a lot of time for Supremacy, though, to prep this.
Yeah, and they've already lost the smoke as well, so a lot of work is going to be on the Legion and perhaps the Maestro. Fortunately, a little bit of damage there as well. Lackey is definitely going to have to try and play smart. Might have a C4 left as well, which definitely is going to be a factor, as the other 2 defenders do not have C4. So if the smokes start to come out here from K6, that's what's going to have to happen. So he needs to stay alive somewhere near the site to stop the actual push.
Now, what I'd like here from Supremacy is just to lock things out, have one player on the rooftop to play from the Habana holes into the bar, because it really gives you a lot of leeway when you're playing against the defenders that are so holed up. As you can tell here, these holes have been opened up perfectly. You see Supernova being lobbed basically on the blue stairs. They'll rush in. Stiz and Alems will get one each. The Habana runs right into Alems, but Crisco with a team kill, making it a bit easier here for IDK, with Stizzy only alive against Crisco. There's 5 seconds left on the clock, and a diffuser is down on the floor. The Maestro will hear things coming in, and Stizzy will have information as well. And he can just deny this. There's not enough time, and IDK win it out. It's odd that Supremacy did nothing about that hole, not because it's ingenious. Obviously, it's a tight hole that you have to deal with. However, if you look back at IDK's game in the past 2 weeks, They've used that so many times, and every single map they play on with a Maestro, they have an exact similar angle to this. No matter the site, you have to expect something like that.
And that's why I have trouble understanding the logic behind the Maestro with the ACOG, because as you mentioned, we've seen it so often now, where Maestro with a tiny little punch hole is just a death machine, because it's always just at a really nice angle, and there's so few defenders that have ACOGs outside of, you know, the old armored guys that used to see a lot of people running Doc and Rook. Now that Maestro's on board, you don't necessarily need to be running Doc or Rook for that ACOG, not to mention he gets, you know, a zillion more bullets. It's definitely problematic for a lot of these players. I mean, this is part of the reason you see Maestro so banned as well, but unfortunately, they went for the ban on Valkyrie instead, so.
Yeah, which is why I'm, you know, we were expecting more of a Mira plus Echo, Mira plus that Maestro ban that is so usual and regular, especially in a map like Coastline. Was not the case at all, and you saw the amount of damage that he was able to do with the LMG before being, you know, tagged. It wasn't even taken out at the end of the round, so still, IDK will put that 4th round on the board as Supremacy not really changing around much in their setup. Again, you look at their operators, they're not out of the ordinary, and it's a setup that will work on pretty much every single site on Coastline.
Yeah, in this case, they're going with the Pulse instead of the Maestro. So we'll see if that works a little bit better. It was surprising to see Meepy die so early last. The punch holes from Stizzy. It's always a good idea to have extra punch holes, because you definitely don't want to make it obvious which one you might be at. We saw quite a few holes last time from the Maestro. Some of those even kind of long little, you know, holes of multiple punch holes horizontally in a row.
It's like playing whack-a-mole.
It is. It's definitely, you want to make sure that you're the mole. You're not the one trying to make the whacking there. It's definitely hard to do when in a situation you're being fired back at by an LMG with 80 bullets and an ACOG. Yeah. In this case, though, they won't have that, so maybe Supremacy will fare a little bit better. They are going to go with the Dokkaebi Lion combo. Again, as that did help quite a bit, I would say, in their last push. They did have a fairly good initial push, though. I got to give them some credit for that. They did get some nice kills out of that once they had some good intel. They started pushing with the, you know, the global effects helping out with that. They just didn't have a good follow-up to that, mostly due to the Maestro.
Yeah, I have to add, because IDK are running the Pulse, it helps a lot. If you know, you have roamers around the map, you can give information back to them. They don't only have to worry about things on their own. It just puts a bit less stress on their minds, where they can just focus on a specific part of the map where the Pulse will be feeding in the rest of the info.
A little bit more difficult than this map in the sense that you have the big circle in the middle of the map, the courtyard. So he has a little bit less places he can rotate across. He has to rotate it a bit more in a circle, which unfortunately that C4 not working out. That means C4 expended early from a Pulse definitely can be problematic if he's going to live the whole round, because now he's not as useful in stopping the plant unless he happens to be in a spot where he can get through the metal bars and shoot them while they're planting, which, you know, does occasionally happen. But a minute left here, and so far no one dying yet. I guess that's good from the IDK. Supremacy taking a bit of time, but they do have a bit of top control, and the Echo Drone slowing that down slightly.
So if you're I actually have never tried this. If you're cooking a grenade and you get hit by Yokai, does it just instantly drop the grenade?
I don't think so. I don't think it has any effect on the grenade itself. The Jews, though, having an effect on Alems. That is unfortunately the Roman Jaeger now down. Yeah, I think it just does the grenades.
Oh!
Wow, that switch up was quick from Crisco. It took a little bit of damage, but Meepy, unfortunately, ill-advised timing, and unfortunately, again, dying in smoke. Too early. Stizzy, though, also falling. It is now 5v2 for Supremacy.
I'm not sure what IDK are trying to do here, playing so far away from the site, but you know what? It's starting to work with 2 players remaining, and they know that there's 2 that'll come in from the pool entrance. Oh no, he turns around at the side, just waiting for a potential flashbang. Unfortunately, it does not come in for K6, and he will get taken down. 15 seconds on the clock as Leon loses the fight against Alfama. 2 players are tagged very, very low. Lackey come in here trying to clutch the round with 2 opponents low on health. This is definitely doable. He'll go in for 1 and then fall back. Very smart from him. He still needs 1 round to take down Alfama, but no. The Lion keeps spraying with that drone mag. 308 will connect with the head of the Pulse in the back. Nicely.
Well, Supremacy still down points, but far from out here. They seem to be pushing back quite a bit, as they have now done, I would say, better than IDK, because IDK won 3 attack rounds in a row before Supremacy were able to win any defense, but it's already just been 1-1 from Supremacy or IDK's defense. So bar just didn't seem like a good sight for IDK versus, you know, what we saw from Supremacy, who actually did defend it pretty well. We'll see how Kitchen fares, though. Lackey could be actually sticking that Frost, as we do occasionally see some of these guys doing that. And Leon with the new Trench Medic. All right, we'll see how this Kitchen goes, though. This is
we've seen so much Frost, though, from IDK.
Well, it's, you know, if you know how to do it right. I mean, but now Frost is going to get that buff, right? So in the future, you know, they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, no comment. So, Lackey not going to 6th pick away from it, which honestly is fine. 6th pick is not something you need to use every single time.
Nope.
He hasn't locked in anything, and you know what? He's going to stick to the Frost at the end of it. Both teams will
Defenders, protect your bombs
same
from being defused by attackers.
You start off with first. We saw Frost being set up very well in that kitchen window. If you know that your opponents take their sweet time before getting onto the site, those frost traps kind of start acting like Legion goo mines. They become stronger and stronger and stronger as the round goes by. And, you know, 2 spots to set them up is one here on the desk where you can jump in. Yeah. There's one position as well by the edge of the wall, the bathroom and the actual stock/pantry for the kitchen, where, you know, you can deny one of those run-ins for a quick plant at the end.
Yeah.
And I wonder where the third one was set up. Correct me, please.
It looked like there's one in the kitchen right there that you can see, and then 2 over by the desk on the delivery entry. So they've gone with all 3 there. And those 2 positions. So, and there's a case too where you mentioned about the goo mines. You get 8 with Legion in theory throughout the round, so that gives you 3 you could throw on frost traps, and still leaves 5 you could scatter around the map. And the reason for doing that, of course, is to get a kill instead of just a down. But a down can also mean a bait, so it can work in your favor potentially. But Leon,
speaking of
early kill there, yeah. Unfortunately, losing Zofia early is definitely going to have a big benefit here. Now, if they could get the buck off the board early, or one of the 2 global ops as well, would be pretty nice for this defense. They were playing, like you said, a lot of heavy roam last time. I do hope that Meepy can live a little bit longer, but maybe they're just really not depending on that smoke for their defense in the end, but they don't have an Echo this time to back that up, so he's going to have to play more careful. But this is the first time we're seeing Kitchen from them, so we'll see how that plays out.
K6 in the pool room bar. So Leon will take down a drone in the back. Kisco trying to pinch things out here with K6's teammate. I don't like putting 2 goo mines so close to one another, because more often than not, you'll just have your opponents running into them both.
Yeah, and then they just only have to pull out one. There we go, though. Alfalma with a nice kill. Legion not going to be putting any more goo mines on the board now. And that's a good trade back. As you mentioned earlier, it gets more powerful throughout the round. But hey, still hit those 2 nonetheless. Going to be extra damage, but it was a nice bait.
Oh my god! Leon almost there. The call has already been made, and he's going to try to dock himself up. Nope. Unfortunately, K6 will hit the headshot, the SMG-12, and Leon will go down there. Unfortunate.
Yeah, well, at least he was able to get 1 kill back before he went down as well. So it's still a 3-3 situation right now. And more importantly, they still have Meepy alive. But Lackey might have to actually use that gun more so than some traps here to help keep this going, because Crisco able to open up those floors. Going to make this a problem, and I doubt they're going to be able to get up to be able to flank him this late with so few people left.
The entire floorboard of VIP is going to get opened up. Drones are going to get shot down, though, and there's still 2 frag grenades for Crisco to use. ADS is going to get burned, make it easier for those grenades to be lobbed down into the sides of the site. Anthrax coming in from the main entryway as Lackey's playing by the main lobby. He has a long angle to play with, and you know what? It works very well with that C9, because it can do so much damage still at that range. Does not have a long barrel on, which, you know, this is the only weapon that will be like, yeah, you can use a long barrel on, but still, Anthrax from the window will get 1, but there's 10 seconds left on the clock as see Supremacy coming in for the diffuser plant. LM is pushing in from the opposite angle. Lackey! What a flick! K6 will go down. Diffuser's gonna get set, but there's only 1 alive. Kisco will have to come in and fight against this. They're both low on health. Kisco will get a kill on to Lackey. Unfortunate here for IDK.
Wow.
What was going on there? IDK miscommunication 3 times in a row. And Supremacy clutched out the round here by having the buck playing the half wall on the outside. Supremacy tied up 4-4.
Definitely a good position for Supremacy to be in, because now they can potentially secure at least a tie. All they've got to do is get one more round before IDK can get two more. And that's pretty doable from what we've seen so far. But this does, of course, kind of prove what we're saying about this being a little bit of attacker-sided map. So the advantage did go to IDK in that they were able to win, start on attack. The problem was that they lost 2 of those rounds. Had they been able to secure 4 of them, they would now be in the guaranteed tie position.
Yep.
So it's definitely a case where if you start attack on an attack-sided map, you need to cinch those out really, really well. You need to put all of your effort into making sure you get all 5 of those, because then after that, all you got to get is 1 round, and that should be pretty doable, even if you burnt yourself out a little bit, making sure you got those first 5.
You can still keep up the momentum here, and honestly, the rounds are being won by Supremacy because of mistakes that IDK should not be making, looking at their track record in the past couple weeks. I mean, obviously they have 3 players up on the board with pretty much 10 kills each.
Well, here's the interesting part. They're changing it up so Leon's going to be the smoke now, and instead they're going to have Meepy be on the roam with that alibi, and they're also going to be bringing the Maestro and Echo again. So they're going with a much more of a combined heavy sight denial and roam play situation here, where I think it might work out a little bit better. But the one thing they're missing now, no ADS, is because they're not playing Jaeger, so they're going to have to be very smart about knowing at least where the Buck is going to be, and potentially the Zofia as well, because those could be problems for them, although at least last round they managed to pick off the Jews early. Just going to have to try and do something similar again. We'll see if those Evil Eyes work out for Maestro again, because that was a pretty nice play from him before. And it looks like he's going to try and do something similar potentially, but got one wall very heavily opened up, and the other one he's punching holes in just now. So we'll see. Could be a big help here, but Meepy has yet to set up any of those holograms. And again, playing with the Caritas instead of the Bailiff. There you go. You like the way he sets up angles. A lot of times Alibi players will set up the angles so they look like they're peeking around a sort of pixel peek, and I think it's smart to set them up like that, because those are the angles you really have to pre-fire without thinking about, is this a hologram or not. You just gotta shoot whatever pixel you see.
Skull will open up the side window here to try get into the projector/theater room. He's got an angle to play with. He did use the same exact spot a couple rounds ago, and it worked out pretty fine for them. But here they'll have to deal with the alibi, and she will get spotted. They also spot play on the back. That is the smoke as well for Leon. Isco will just fall back and enter the main lobby as he cooks in a grenade, expecting to have a bit more information. Unfortunately, it bounces, does a bit more damage to him than he would have liked, and nothing really done to the alibi. So far, unscathed.
Definitely not the best cook on there in terms of having to eat his own meal. But he's still got his Buck skeleton key, so he can do plenty from below. Hopefully that hole he opened up the grenade is backfire. But Alphelma, speaking of backfire, does take down Leon fairly early. And the Caritas actually could work out here as he tries to follow it up, but it is traded at least. But Meepy gets the 1 kill on the Jews. That's a good kill. Unfortunately, now they're down 2 on IDK, 2 important players. So again, losing the smoke so early.
IDK very frag hungry there. At least the alibi, not a big fan of that play personally. Anthrax will just open up here side angle. They do have time here, Supremacy, to reset Lion and put him back on at least 50% health, just to have a bit more survivability, as more often than not, the Lion will really start to shine on kills by the few end seconds of the round, but it seems like they will forgo that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Got those Evil Eyes hacked.
That's a problem. Stizzy will lob in one of his yokais, and you'll spot K6 taking a lot of damage from the drone hole.
Well, so far they're going to start to open up the barbed wire because they only have 28 seconds left. They don't have to worry about the smoke, but they do have to worry about Maestro and Echo.
They have to worry about the mute with that with that nitro cell just in case. LM's being contested a bit here as Stizzy will come in. Can he get the shot with Supernova? Not going to connect just yet. Lackey is low on health. Diffuser's going to get planted as they were not able to do things right here. IDK not able to deny the diffuser plant. The call will come out. There's 2 players, one of them in the aquarium trying to contest LM's on the Maestro. They hear him up at the side of the balcony. K6 will run up for 1. Lackey has already used his C4, and they have to play against 3 from Supremacy. The Frenchmen here are looking for that first round on the board. Alfama will secure it, and Supremacy will guarantee a minimum of 1 point on the board. very surprising.
I gotta say,
looking at how both teams have been playing here.
just terrible plant denial from IDK though. Losing the smoke early, the Echo not doing his job, them getting a nitro cell kill but not on the diffuser. It's just, they're letting the plants go down when they should not be at all. Supremacy is not doing anything special to get those plants down either. They're not Candelaing everyone and going for Lion Dokubi calls with tons of smoke and a glass playing it. There's no excuse for IDK to be losing these defenses when they're just playing too aggressively, like you were saying. I mean, okay, it's fine if the Alibi's doing it, because the Alibi's a roamer, whatever, you can play aggressive. That's a disposable operator. But when the smoke is dying early, no matter who's playing him, Meepy or Leon, when the Echo is not doing his job in denying the plant, when the C4, the lone C4 you have to go out is not going out to deny the plant, you guys are completely allowing Supremacy to plant, and then you see what happens. They're just repelling. They're all over the place. You don't know where they're at. You saw it when they were fighting in Kitchen as well. They could not fight the attackers being outside, so don't put yourself in that situation,
and
because now guaranteed tie.
That's why people say Coastline is an attacker favorite map, because the instant that a fuser is set, it is so difficult for defensive team to pull back and, you know.
Well, that's why you ban Valkyrie, right? Because in this situation, that is the one thing that would help them, is if there was cameras still outside, they might be able to get some intel to go for those jump outs correctly, but with no way to get cameras outside, can't do it. I mean, it's unfortunate you can't just drive the yokai out, right? Because it loses signal after about 3 seconds. You can't just drive that outside, set it up like a little Valcam. But
10 seconds.
I don't know what kind of batteries that are on that thing, but that's a, you know, it's not that great of a drone.
It's the Wi-Fi signals. It's terrible. So that's what it comes down to.
And we'll see. I like the soft wall setup on the side, because that has been used to beautiful effect in a few rounds that actually we were watching a couple of weeks ago in EU play days specifically. And more often than not, I think there was a blitz being played, and once the defenders realized, they just shot through the wall and got 2 kills.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice angle there. It took advantage of him playing there, and that's something that we found was an accident in a way. It was like, you know, there wasn't something they prepared. They just like, oh, we just didn't get to setting that up. So maybe that's something we'll see people using more strategically as well. See, though, they are starting to get some angles to work here, but they have so little site control, or so little map control rather, for 45 seconds in. This is definitely a bit of a slower push from Supremacy, but I mean, both teams have been punishing aggressive roamers constantly, and I think that's been kind of the theme. And something that I've noticed a long time on this map is roamers have so much trouble playing this map correctly, and I feel like the team that really figures out roam really well on this map is just going to destroy other teams. But it just doesn't seem to have happened yet. We see even like 3-man roam attempts from teams like Orglis, where they'll play all these roam operators and hang out everywhere, and it's just, it's the way the map is set up circularly and the lack of being able to rotate safely through the courtyard that really just makes this such a hard map to defend. But we're also seeing over-aggressive roamers, and then Lackey, for example, throwing out a C4s too early. Hopefully he saves it a little bit longer this time, because, well, the rest of this team has not been reliable on plant defense.
Well, Lackey at least trying to remedy that problem by running a pulse to relay information back to his teammates. The hash, however, will get it opened up, and yet again the C4 will miss its target. IDK feeling the heat, but you know what? Leon Gids will hit one yokai on to K6 upstairs, and will get lost. Leon, you know what? Does not care. Just runs into K6. It takes a lot of damage, and Meepy on the other side will get a kill on Crisco, taking down now Dokubi and the Buck. It'll be more of a standard way of play here, as Anthrax is trying to contest the Smoke, who's in the back of the site. Siaguman that just got locked into the main stairs, but Supremacy are going to use the wall. Oh, no.
Party poppers not working out.
Unfortunate. The Jews will try to come in from the main lobby, as he'll get one kill, but run into a go mine, so the information now will get relayed back, since he's already used up all of his mines. Alpha will inhale a bit of the smoke, and the soft wall gets used to the detriment of IDK. They are a bit lower on health, but Leon Gids has already put himself upstairs. The Lion will walk right into Alemza's crosshairs. His 2 players are left alive. Supremacy will try to go for a plant ASAP, as Anthrax is on it here. Can he get sprayed? No, he cannot. DeJuice is waiting for the rotation, but they'll get the kill finally. Habana will get down and not enough time to plant the diffuser. Supremacy will run away with 1 point as IDK will land the same. And unless Penta tie, Penta will be top of the board again.
Or if they lose. Dun, dun, dun. What a shocker that would be. But much like I said with Liquid earlier, they'd gone from having a flawless record to getting a tie on their first match this week. So this is IDK pulling a Liquid.
It's all right. Honestly, if you're able to compare any team to Team Liquid, you should be happy.
I would love to be compared to anyone on Team Liquid.
Yeah, honestly,
that's
definitely a compliment. And